AI and Afrofuturism. Artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, because we need to know what's going on out here. And this artificial intelligence is the wave, it's the future. So ride along with me as I break down for y'all, you know, where we're at, okay?
Break it down.
All right, let me break this down, baby.
Yes.
All right, so when you think of artificial intelligence, you probably think of this, you know. You might think of this, you might have seen this on Facebook, right, on YouTube, dancing robots. Maybe even some of y'all think about this, right? That's the original one. That's the original artificial intelligence we knew about. But did you also know that it's this? It's your Alexa, you know, listening to your conversations. It's your Netflix, it's your Hulu, it's your streaming services recommending you different things, recommending you movies, recommending you shows. It's also your YouTube, your Instagram, your Facebook. It's all these different feeds that are recommending you things. That's artificial intelligence that's doing that. So today I'm gonna get into, you know, first, what is AI? Then I'm gonna delve into blackness and the intersection between black and AI, and honestly some problems that are arising, so we know about those. And then finally, I want to go into some real world AI tools and teach y'all how to actually use it, okay? Great. So first, before we go into what is AI, who am I, right? Why is the video guy from the back of the room talking about artificial intelligence? So I wanted to tell y'all really quick, you know, even though I'm a video guy, I'm a tech guy, tried and true. While I consider myself an elder millennial, I had internet way before it was a household thing, even before AOL, and I built my first computer when I was 10 years old. So I'm a nerd, y'all. I know how to look good now, but I'm a nerd. And I didn't graduate in it, but I studied computer engineering in college. And before I started my media company 10 years ago, TechBoogie, I was a programmer, and then I was a tech recruiter. So even today, I'm a tech dude, and I leverage tech to help me build my business and enhance everything that I do in my life. Okay, now, what actually is AI? I'm trying to break it down in the most simple terms because, yeah, it's a lot, I'm not gonna lie. But if I'm gonna break this down in the most simple way possible, AI is the ability for machines to do things that usually only people can do, okay? Now, this can relate to things like recognizing speech, giving us back answers like what Alexa does, how we perceive the world visually, and moving through the world like self-driving cars, like Tesla, or even things like decision-making and natural human language and processing human language. Now, how it does this is through an engineering process called machine learning, if you've ever heard of that. And it's when we teach a computer to basically do something by feeding it millions of examples of that thing. That's how we teach these computers to read us and act like us. We just feed them millions of examples. And how it does this is called an algorithm. I guess nod your head if you know what an algorithm is. Okay, you heard of that word, right? How it actually uses that is called an algorithm. Now, an everyday example, which is kind of crazy, of how machines actually learn is these. So if you ever seen these when you're logging into your bank, it's security, but they're also like teaching the machines what a car looks like, what a traffic light looks at. It's actually a machine learning technique that they're doing secretly, okay? So I want to get into some numbers here just to break down kind of, you know, the landscape globally. And in a report published by IBM in 2022, they basically did a study on the rates that companies are adopting AI across the world right now. And the global average is 53%. I don't know if you can see these numbers, but 53% of companies are using AI across the world. China and Latin America and India are well over 60%. If you look, United States isn't even on this list. United States is 24%. that we're using AI. So we're lagging way behind the other countries right now. And I mean, that's a lot. That was a lot for me to process. I was like, really? But you know, I guess you want to note that it is industry specific. So manufacturing is probably the biggest place where companies are using AI in those machines that are building cars and building the products, building our iPhones that we have in our pockets or Android. I'll just play it, no shade. But I guess I wanted to say that this gives us an opportunity as Black people, seeing that our country is so far behind, that if we can jump on that and we can actually know how to use these tools to elevate our communities, to elevate our companies, our jobs, our businesses, and life, then that's gonna do a lot for us. And I think that's why I'm here and that's why I'm speaking to y'all today, okay? All right, so, you know, I gotta go into this, and it's not a happy subject completely, but when it comes to Blackness and AI and how it's showing up today. So you might have heard about this, but the phrase is called AI bias. And really what this means is that since there's such a low percentage of engineers that are teaching these computers machine learning at these mega tech companies, the same biases that happen in real life, right, end up happening in the computer world, ends up happening for these AI machines because they're not programming them to look at us, to think about us. So that's something that is unfortunate, but you know, there is a silver lining. And actually, yeah, I guess I did want to say the most, you know, flagrant example of this is facial recognition software, which is software that law enforcement uses to track people, potential criminals. And they use the software and they tap into cameras all over everywhere, and they can search based on that. Now, if Black people aren't programming this, right, those biases where, you know, they think we're criminals already just gets amplified through the software. So it's a sad fact, but it's something we need to talk about because we need to get more of us into STEM. We need to push the youth towards developing those skills so they can create the new world that isn't so biased against us, especially if this is something that's going to keep escalating over time. Okay? So, you know, the dope part about this, though, is that even though Black people were in the minority in this field, there's a strong contingent of ultra smart Black women engineers and scholars. Yep. They are standing up and they're speaking about the disparities in the field and holding companies accountable for this. And they've made a big difference already in industry. And this is a large number of Black women. Like, yeah, the Black women are doing it. The Black women are leading it. Even in the few years since they started speaking out, sounding the alarm, AI technology has already improved greatly as far as bias towards Black people. So I wanted to go through a couple and just show you their faces and tell you, show you what they do, okay? This is Angel Bush. She's the founder of Black Women in AI. Dr. LaTanya Sweeney, professor of government and technology at Harvard, and she was the former CTO of the Federal Trade Commission. Black woman. Dr. Timnit Hebrew, PhD from Stanford Artificial Intelligence Laboratory. I actually got to meet her one time. Yep. Then we got Ruah Benjamin, who's an author and professor of African American Studies at Princeton. She also pushes AI knowledge and technology in the industry. I struggle with this last name, but this is Joy Bualam Winnie. Okay, we got through it. She's a poet and also the founder of the Algorithmic Justice League. All right, dope women. Now, I got a video by her of her famous award-winning poem, and I'm gonna play this for y'all about AI. Y'all ready for me back there? You turn it up, 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 turn it up.
My heart smiles as I bask in their legacy, knowing their lives have altered many destinies. In her eyes, I see my mother's poise. In her face, I glimpse my auntie's grace. In this case of deja vu, a 19th century question comes into view. In a time when Sojourner Truth asked, "Ain't I a woman?" Today we pose this question to new powers, making bets on artificial intelligence, hope towers. The Amazonians peek through windows blocking deep blues as faces increment scars. Old burns, new urns, collecting data chronicling our past, often forgetting to deal with gender, race, and class. Again I ask, ain't I a woman? Face by face, the answers seem uncertain. Young and old, proud icons are dismissed. Can machines ever see my queens as I view them? Can machines ever see our grandmothers as we knew them? Ida B. Wells, data science pioneer, hanging facts, stacking stats on the lynching of humanity, teaching truths hidden in data, each entry and omission, a person worthy of respect. Shirley Chisholm, unbought and unbossed, the first Black Congresswoman, but not the first to be misunderstood by machines well-versed in data-driven mistakes. Michelle Obama, unabashed and unafraid to wear her crown of history, yet her crown seems a mystery to systems unsure of her hair. A wig, a bouffant, a toupee, maybe not. Are there no words for our braids and our locks? Does relaxed hair and sunny skin make Oprah the first lady? Even for her face well known, some algorithms fault her, echoing sentiments that strong women are men. We laugh, celebrating the successes of our sisters with serena smiles. No label is worthy of our beauty.
So I probably noticed it really showed that, yeah, these powerful, iconic Black women, when they fed them into AI, they showed up as men because they didn't even account for that in the programming. So I just wanted to say all that to say I really wanted to shed light on this reality of racial bias in AI towards Black people. But I just once again also want to remind us how important it is that our youth get involved in STEM because of this, because that's really the best way that we can solve this in the future. So here's a couple organizations that I've worked with personally and are also just doing amazing work in the Bay. If you know some youth or you know somebody and you want to, kind of give them a little nudge towards STEM, okay? Great.
What is STEM?
Oh, can you say it?
Science, technology, engineering, mathematics.
Science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so we got through that part. That was a tough part. But now we get a little bit of fun. All right? So I'm gonna break down some AI tools that I personally love to use and show you how I use them so you can use them too. So if you didn't notice, and you probably don't, but it's kind of crazy, but this image right here, which I used to promote the event, I created this using AI. I don't know graphic design or how to, graphically create beautiful, futuristic black women, but I did this with AI in like 5 minutes. Okay? That's a software called MidJourney that I'm going to go into. That's a little bit more advanced, but before we go into that, I'm going to teach y'all how to come up with words if you're trying to come up with copy or writing or text, and you have a writer's block or you just don't even want to think about it. You can just plug in a couple words and then it'll write it all for you. So I'm going to show y'all how to use that, and all these tools are free. Okay, so the first tool, you guys might have heard about this. I don't know if you have, but it's called ChatGPT. Has anybody heard of ChatGPT? Raise your hand. Okay, decent amount of people. Yeah, it's powerful. It's so powerful. The more I use it, the more I start to just figure, yeah, I don't need to spend an hour to write something or write an email or make a proposal. You can just plug it into ChatGPT, change a couple words, and it's good to go. So actually, the intro that you gave for me, Kawaza, that was written in ChatGPT. Yeah. All right. So the first tool is ChatGPT. I want to break this down for y'all. It only came out a few months ago. But it's the first AI tool to go mainstream for consumers, okay? And that's why it's been so popular, and it's really well-made software, and it's the first one to go mainstream. Now, all you have to do, actually I should tell you what it is and how it works. So it's basically an extremely human-like chatbot that you can ask things of it, you can ask it to tell you things, and it'll provide answers in text like it was just a person talking to you. And you can ask it so many things. It'll blow your mind. But to use it, all you got to do is first go to this website, chat.openai.com, and create a free account. And then it'll give you a box where you can enter in your chat. That's this little arrow at the bottom here. And that's the basics of it. Now, my first example, I'll show you how I wrote the intro right before this. So, can you move my little my screen a little bit? And I used it word for word. Wow. Instantly, it spit that out. This is AI technology. This is what we're doing now. Here's another example. So I asked it to come up with 5 new catchphrases for EASTBAY Church of Religious Science, just to see what it said. And I could tell it knows EASTBAY, like it knows EASTBAY based on these answers. It said, discover your divine nature at EASTBAY Church of Religious Science. Write these down, you might want to use these. Transform your life with the power of positive thinking at EASTBAY Church of Religious Science. Experience the love and acceptance of a supportive community at EASTBAY Church of Religious Science. Unleash your full potential and create a life you love at EASTBAY Church of Religious Science. And lastly, empower yourself to live a joyful, meaningful life at EASTBAY Church of Religious Science. Right? It's crazy. What did you say? I could ask it about the new minister. It might have some words of wisdom. So, honestly, you can see the possibilities are endless. Like, it doesn't have to be related to a job, but, you can use it for, if you're ever just stuck or you just don't want to come up with an idea, just pop it in there, see what it says, and you'd be really surprised what it comes up with. You can use it to rewrite your bio. You can use it to write a personal statement when you're submitting your resume. You can use it to help write you emails. You can write chapters in a book. I wrote a movie script. I wrote a short movie script. I just asked it a couple words and it wrote a movie script for me. You can write chapters in a book. You can write computer code. It can even write raps for you. I tried that out. So this is the #1 AI tool that I'm using all the time. So I'm glad, I hope you guys get something out of that. Great. Now these are just some like recent articles about it. ChatGPT passed the bar exam. And Google is known to have the hardest coding test out of all major tech companies. ChatGPT passed the interview to get into Google. So that's how strong this technology is. Okay? So yeah, let's jump into a little something different now. So the next one, and this is what I used to make the image that I showed you guys earlier of that beautiful black woman, that hero, that's called MidJourney. And you just go to MidJourney.com. Now this one is a little bit more technical, a little bit though, not a lot, but a little bit, you know. You gotta use a software called, why am I blanking right now? Discord, duh. So you wanna go to MidJourney.com, and then once you get in the chat, down below after you join, what you do then is you type in /imagine and then whatever you want to come up with to create your image. Now these images, I typed imagine, Afrofuturism, black woman, surreal technology, and here's the images it spit out. This one I love, this one I love, and then I typed in black boy superhero, and here's what it popped up. Boom. That's my favorite one. No, that's not my favorite one. This is my favorite one. Yeah, it's fire. And that's really like, you know, that really wraps up the lesson on how to use my favorite AI tools right now. But to close things up, I got my homie Daryl over here hiding in the cuts. This morning, I mentioned rap. This morning, I asked it to write me a rap song about EASTBAY Church of Religious Science. And Daryl's gonna give you a little beat, and I'm gonna spit it for y'all. Yeah, let's do it. Oh, I need the mic though. What up, EASTBAY? Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. I found a community of like-minded folks. We come together to share our joys and woes. Slow it down, baby bro. Yeah, yeah. We support each other on our spiritual journey. At EASTBAY Church, we find strength and clarity. I've learned the power of positive thinking and how it can shift my life and stop sinking. I found my purpose and my true self. At EASTBAY Church, I found my joy and poise. Yeah, let's go. EASTBAY, that's where we go to find my truth and let my spirit flow. Leave behind all my doubts and fears. EASTBAY, clarity and cheer. EASTBAY, that's where I go to find my truth, let my spirit flow. I leave behind all my doubts and fears. At EASTBAY, find clarity and cheer. Oh, EASTBAY, go EASTBAY, go EASTBAY, go EASTBAY, go EASTBAY, go EASTBAY. When I say EASTBAY, you say love. EASTBAY, EASTBAY. When I say EASTBAY, you say love. EASTBAY, EASTBAY, and I'm out.
Wow, yes. That was quite a bit. Let's give Brother JJ another hand here. For all of those of us who are still figuring out what that little Lex does, okay.
Now we know.
We have opportunity for like a couple of questions. If you have questions for Brother JJ about AI or connecting.
So when you asked it a question and it gave you information based on what you asked it. What if someone asks a question that's similar to yours, like say for instance writing a paper? Would it write the same paper?
It's kind of crazy because every time you put in a question, even if you do the same question, it always gives you a new answer. It always gives you a new answer. And the really dope part about it is you couldn't see on there, but you kind of create threads. And you can open up that thread and it remembers the answers it gave you infinitely behind. So it's like you're keeping the conversation going with this robot and it'll remember.
Okay. I was surprised that the U.S. was so far down in our use of artificial intelligence, and I'm just wondering, all these countries that are up way ahead of us, what are they using artificial intelligence for? Can you give us some examples?
To build products. You know, they're using machines, like actual physical machines, to build iPhones, to build TVs, to build cars.
All the things we've explained.
I could see it. Yeah, why not? Why not? Another question?
Over here.
Over here?
Yes.
We got one more.
I understand that some of the universities are blocking the use of this chat algorithm, and they're creating programs to detect whether or not students are writing papers using that.
Yeah.
Can you speak to that?
Definitely, yeah. I've heard a lot about that, and it's interesting. Like, I know a teacher, and he actually uses ChatGPT to come up with his lessons, but he blocks his students from using it in the class. Because it's such a powerful tool, and it just spread like wildfire on campuses. So pretty much all students, you know, around the U.S. and around the world are using ChatGPT. I will say, though, it's interesting that, you know, maybe they might block it. I don't know how that's going to shake out. But they have websites where you can plug in, like if you want to write an essay, there's websites you plug in that essay that teachers use, and it'll tell you if it's plagiarized or not. When you plug in essays written by ChatGPT, they don't show up as plagiarized. They show up as unique. Yeah, so that's why they're trying to, because I think it's going to change how we learn. I think it's going to change how we interact with creation and creativity. So that's a good example. Thanks for bringing that up. Daryl, that's my last question.
You got two more on the floor. Can you take a look?
Oh, I thought I got shut down.
Okay, yes, you shut down, that's okay.
Got one more.
Okay. So I just want to tell a testimony. When I first saw AI, you know, as an artist, as a painter, you see my artwork over there. I typed something in and it had, you know, and I sent like 20 pictures and it sent me like 100 pictures back, like in about 10 minutes. And I was like, whoa. This stuff takes me hours to paint. It takes me months to paint sometimes. So, but, and I had a conversation with one of my mentors who's 75. I'm 60. And we're talking about this stuff, and it's like, it scared me at first, but folks, we got to be on top of this. We got to get on top of this because it's an opportunity. You know, I remember when my dad told me back when I was 15, man, you need to start typing because the computers is going to be big. And I was like, man, I'm going to ride my bike. But, you know, you got kids, you got grandkids. Introduce them, get them an iPad. It's so many things. I do art, everything I do is on my iPad. I tattoo, so I design all my tattoos on my iPad, and we don't even use paper anymore. I make music on my iPad. There's so many apps and stuff that they're coming out with every day, and we got to be on top of this stuff, man. But the AI is, whew, my son was telling me, my son's 31, he was telling me about GPT. Yeah. We had this conversation just the other day. He said, Dad, you know about this? I was like, no. He's like, man, you need it. I was like, whoa, okay. So that's just my testimony.
Thank you, brother. Okay, I got granted one more.
I'm just curious of how specific you would have to be in terms of, say, if you were writing a biography about yourself, how would it know about you? How specific do you have to be? Do you have to think of questions to ask?
I think what I would do, because I was actually thinking about doing my bio with ChatGPT, I think what I would do is like have a list of like your high-level accomplishments that you wanted to write about, and just list those out and be like, put it in a parentheses and be like, ChatGPT, write me a new bio with these. Like, write me a 4-sentence bio with these accomplishments, and then just see what it gives you, and then just kind of, you gotta massage it a little bit, right? You know, it's not gonna be perfect, but it should give you a very good starting place to have a really well-written bio. All right?
Thank you, JD.